Alright. How's it going, Elk? Heard, my name is Loess. You're watching Cryptid Cries, and obviously you're watching episode 52 of Cryptid Time. Uh, hope you all are having a great day night thing. And I'm trying to figure out where. Yeah. Where. Ooh, was in there? Yeah. Ooh, okay. Yeah, this works. Let's see the Loess men or Loess men, something like that. The Loess man. Uh, in 1894, men digging for Native American remains 10 miles north of Omaha dug up a skull they couldn't readily identify, so they packed it up and forgot about it. 12 years later, after a similar skull was found in Nebraska by Robert Fletcher Gilder from the University of Nebraska, they sent the skull to Gilder. For comparison, Gilder was certain they had uncovered remains of a Neanderthal. Very interesting. In the November 1906 issue of Science magazine, Gilder claimed exactly that. The skulls are of the Neanderthal type, he wrote, with thick protruding brows, low forehead, devoid of frontal eminences, large parietal eminences, narrow temples, thick skull walls, and small brain capacity. Well, that's one way to call someone stupid. Small brain capacity, okay. Now, evidence of Neanderthal in the center of North America would have shattered the accepted theory that only modern humans migrated to that continent across the Bering Strait land bridge 12,000 to 13,000 years ago. Neanderthals limited to Africa and Eurasia became extinct 40,000 years ago. Anthropologist Alice Herdlicka, in his book Skeletal Remains Suggesting or Attributed to Early Man in North America, 1907, set out to discredit the Loess men, claiming since the skulls were discovered only 4 feet down, they were modern skulls and couldn't be Neanderthal. However, he couldn't explain the protruding brows or the low frontal forehead. Neanderthals in Nebraska, who knows? That one, I mean, who knows? Because here's the thing, we find fossils all the time and like ancient relics all the time at the tops of the soils, because what happens is as land's moving and all of that, yes, because land masses move, if you were unaware of that, but as the tectonic plates move and new rock is being formed every day, and as that happens, stuff that was deeper down in old rock ends up coming up to the surface for some reason, whether it be like destroyed or whatever, like the rock it was in or whatever destroyed is destroyed and it's been pushed up or whatever, erosion, stuff like that, where it's just old rock on top now and all of that. So there's a good possibility it was probably Neanderthals, or maybe a type of humanoid or ancient human that we have yet to discover. But this next one is fairly interesting. Phantom kangaroos. In 1958, Grand Island businessman Charles V. Wetzel was fishing on the Platte River about 8 miles outside of town when he saw something that shouldn't be. According to a July 28, 1958, Associated Press story, Wetzel thought he saw a deer until it moved, bounding away on enormous back legs in 10-foot leaps. He'd seen a kangaroo about 8,700 miles away from the beast's home in Australia. Kangaroos have been seen worldwide in areas without native population since the 1830s. Sightings stretched across North America, France, the UK, Japan, and Poland, although in some countries like Poland, escaped kangaroos have formed colonies that can't account for all of the sightings of these bounding marsupials that are so far away from home. Uh, yeah. Vampires. An article by Dale Bacon, the assistant curator of the Nebraska State Historical Society, claims Nebraska cowboys encountered a vampire in the late 1890s, and with a name like Bacon, I trust him. Of course. I hate how this author's like funny but not. Um anyways, in 1895 around Pine Ridge, ranch hands, cattle, and wildlife were reportedly attacked by a madman. Ranch hands witnessed this man chase down cattle, wrestle them to the ground, and rip at the bovine throat with his hands and teeth. Dang, because cattle like skin is tough. I mean, not tough enough for guns and all of that, but it's still tough where you couldn't rip it with your hands. That's if it was a rabbit now, maybe. Even a squirrel, you could probably do it too, like rip the skin off. But that's interesting. Uh, the man would then leap the blood of his victim the way a dog laps. Oh, lap the blood of his victims the way a dog laps water. A cowboy named Jack Lewis ran into this man, people now called a vampire, alone in the darkness one night. The vampire attacked Lewis, however, Lewis was able to pull his gun and fire 2 shots. The vampire ran into the night. Lewis and other ranch hands chased him on horseback, but they never found the vampire. Back at camp, the hands tended Lewis's wounds, tooth and claw marks on his face and neck. Oof. That's an intriguing one. Now there's tons of stories of vampires, whether it be, I believe, I forget where Romania. Yeah, I think Romania, Bulgaria has them too. I'm not sure about the UK, but they might have vampire stories. If you're from there, let me know, because I'd like to look into that. But there's there's a lot of places in, like, I think even in some Asian cultures, like Southeast Asia, so like Indonesia and that area, Singapore, I think, yeah, uh, have stories of vampire-like creatures. So who knows? Maybe there's something out there, but I know there's a disease out there besides rabies that I forget the name of it. It's like like in something where they, it's called the werewolf disease. So maybe it's those, the this report was like one of the first reports of those, but it still doesn't explain why they're, because the disease just makes you more hairy. Your canine teeth become more pointed and elongated, and I think they said your nails even grow faster, and like I said, you can end up being more hairy and look more like a one of those old Universal werewolf films. Um, but I don't think they've ever said they're aggressive like the people who have them. So there has to be something else to it if it is the case. And I think there's also a thing like a vampire disease, where it can also make your teeth like that, but I'm not quite sure. But why so aggressive? Maybe it was one of the first cases of rabies. I don't know. But yeah, that one's interesting. Um, Obviously, what was the? Oh yeah, the kangaroos. Like they said, there's places that have seen them everywhere. Um, I'll say this about, since they mentioned the UK and their phantom kangaroos. They also have, I think, I'm not sure if anybody else knows about these ones. If you have, then lucky you. But in the UK, there's also something that here in the United States we have as well, which I guess makes us more in common than we thought. Uh, but they have phantom big cats. So like some in some of those small towns, they say they see like a giant black cat or whatever. Uh, what you Some of the descriptions say it is like what you'd think of as a mountain lion, so to speak. So if the phantom cats are real in the UK, maybe there's a possibility that they have phantom kangaroos. And to be fair, considering how aggressive kangaroos are, I'd rather come across a giant big cat roaming around London than see a kangaroo any day. Uh, yeah, that's that's interesting to me though, cause I'm not sure if we'll get into it if this book talks about, okay, talks about, okay, that's gonna give me nightmares, but let's see. There's a bunch of uh big cat, or like phantom big cats, so to speak, here in the United States. It's seems to be more of like a eastern United States story, because here in Pennsylvania, there's people who've claimed to have seen a like mountain lion here, um, which is interesting to me. But you never know, because we used to have eastern uh cougars, but they're supposed to be extinct unless you go down to Florida. Um, but those are called Florida Panthers. Same thing though. Um, but yeah. Now here in the United States, just because of how many different climates we have, I highly doubt uh a kangaroo could live here. So they probably seen a deer or something like that, or maybe they seen something else, or maybe they were just super dehydrated, or had some sort of disease, or were extremely tired and they were hallucinating, the kangaroos. But the vampire one is interesting to me, though. That one's, out of all of them, that one's the most. Well, that and the skull ones are interesting, but like actually seeing a creature rip at a cow's throat. And yeah, that's probably the softest area on a cow, but with its hands and teeth itself is intriguing to me. Like, it has immense strength to actually do that, and to even wrestle it to the ground. Um, Even with like baby cows, yes, people can do it, and it's a lot easier. But even there, then if you like watch rodeos, like videos of them doing like wrestling the cows to the ground and all of that, they still have a little bit of a hard time with them, especially when they're a little bit bigger too. Uh, yes, they can get it down to the ground, but it's all just how you do it. But if it's if like what happened was actual large adult cows, like it's making it out to be, that's you would be flung into the air by that cow. So for something to wrestle it to the ground, first of all catching up to it, but wrestle it to the ground is extremely, extremely A, intelligent, and B, extremely strong. Um, but yeah, that's all I have to say about these. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And so until next time, I'll see you all on the next hunt.